Bertram, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tom Brady says he cloned his dog. Should we come clean to the viewers?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. We are clones. The original Mike and Tony have lived at a swingers resort in Antigua since 2016.
I don't want to say exactly where. You could have said
Antigua.
Undisclosed location.
I said Antigua.
I know, but people know where Antigua is.
Nobody can blame me because I am a clone.
No.
Do you believe that story? That
No.
the clone of the dog?
Not at all. Let me just say this. The Brady commercials, they're brilliant.
They are.
They're brilliantly funny.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Jets explain why they dealt their best two defensive players. The NHL approves a bizarre overtime goal, and Steve Young joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with the first official college football playoff committee rankings. They have Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss is 6. That's 3 SEC teams in a row. The Big Ten has a third team in the top 10, Oregon at 9. The Big 12 has BYU and Texas Tech at 7 and 8, and 2-loss Notre Dame is 10. Wilbon, would you have ranked the top of the board the way the committee did?
I think so. I certainly don't have any objections to it. And I think I would have ranked them that way, Tony. The big, the SEC can have 40 teams in a row. We got the top 2.
That's right.
We got Ohio State and Indiana. Ohio State has a losable game as we look forward and we spin this forward, because everybody will come on television, every network including this one, and say, well, if they run the table, and no one runs the damn table. So let's stop with the running the table.
Well, Michigan ran the table.
Yeah, well, then the other 9 don't every year. Okay. Every year there are upsets. There are people who lose to people that nobody anticipates because they're all saying if they run the table. Ohio State may not even run the table. They're at Michigan, and we know what happens when they play Michigan.
Yeah.
All right? But they're at Michigan. That's a losable game. Indiana does not have a losable game, and I'm going to say that Indiana's going to run the table. They got Purdue, Penn State, and Wisconsin. Tell me what you think their record is of the 3 of them right now in Big Ten play. Give me an aggregate.
It doesn't matter, because then aren't they going to have to play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship?
Maybe. It's 0-16.
That stinks. Okay,
but if they lose one game, they're still going to make it.
Yeah.
So even if they lost to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game.
No, but it would change the number. That's all I'm saying.
Which is nothing.
It changes. Okay. So I watched the reveal show. I like the reveal show. And I seem to recall Joey Galloway was out there, right? And Greg McElroy. And they said that in terms of analytics, they thought that Texas A&M should be higher than Indiana and Ohio State. They weren't screaming, they weren't angry or anything like that. And I guess it had to do maybe with strength of schedule or some subjective way to make it into objective who you beat. Here's what stood out to me. And I agree with you. I agree with you that things are going to change. Here's what stood out to me: the total lack of regard for the ACC, which is what happens when Clemson and Florida State stink. Okay, Virginia. Here's the ACC. I'll be quick on this. They're the top-ranked team at 14. Virginia, Louisville 15, Georgia Tech 17, Miami 18, Pitt at 24. So the committee is saying right now, today,
not any good.
Not any of them are good enough to be in a 12-team playoff.
Now Virginia's going to make it
today.
Somebody has to. I know, because they get an automatic
qualifier.
Has to. I'm just saying Virginia may run the table because they got nothing left.
Mike, it's not a 12-team playoff, because if you don't like the ACC and you stuck with a group of 5, which is now Memphis, it's really a 10-team playoff. You're going for 10 slots.
Okay, but you're going
for 10 slots.
Virginia's going to make it.
Yeah, maybe if they win. If they win, they got to win the championship, conference championship.
Let's move to the biggest moves of yesterday's NFL trade deadline. Your 1-7 Jets
team of my
sent cornerback Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round picks and a receiver, and they traded defensive tackle Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys for a second, a first, and defensive tackle Maisie Smith. The Seahawks picked up receiver Rashid Shaheed, I love that name, and the Jaguars got Jacoby Myers from the Raiders. Tony, which team or teams should feel best coming out of the deadline?
The New York Jets should feel best.
Wow.
Because they stink.
Wow.
And they are finally understanding, stop with this delusional thinking. This group of people is not going to help us win. It's not going to help us win. They are opting for a better future, which may or may not include Aaron Glenn. They traded away probably their 2 best guys, right, on defense. Sauce Gardner, 2-time first-team All-Pro at corner. Quinnen Williams, 1-time first-team All-Pro.
They hired a defensive ace to coach their team and got away from Detroit, and they get rid of their 2 best players.
Because what the Jets get back is hope. They get, in the next 2 years, 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick in addition to what they already have, and they get players. I mean, if you have a good general manager, and I don't know that they do,
but that
can turn your team
players
around.
Already.
But it hasn't worked.
Okay, but that speaks to either coaching or development. It doesn't speak to the draft.
Okay, the Jets are 1-7 now. They ought to go for 1-16 and a complete reno. A reno, as the kids say.
Already?
What do you think got it better? Indianapolis got it.
I'm fascinated by the Jets because I think that it actually is. No, so Seattle.
Oh, yeah, they got the receiver.
Seattle's got Sam Darnold, who's playing near MVP level again.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And they're going to put Shaheed out there with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Come on now.
Yeah.
They've got everything. Seattle just scored 38 in the other Washington last week, in your Washington.
Yeah.
And then they add a receiver who's a deep threat. And
Buffalo should have done that. Buffalo should have tried to add a wide receiver. Well, they didn't. They didn't.
Seattle just did a better job.
I think Indianapolis comes out great because Sauce Gardner is really good. And if you're going to go to the playoffs, you have to find two.
Isn't that a lot to give up for a defense for a corner? I'm not giving up that much for any corner because it's always somebody. Nnamdi Asomugha was supposed to be the greatest corner since Mel Blount.
They only have to be great for 2 years.
That's all they're ever great.
Well, maybe he'll be great for the next 2. Let's move to hockey and a controversial goal from last night. In overtime, Minnesota's Marcus Johansson was awarded a goal even though the actual netting was off its moorings because the Nashville goalie knocked it off while attempting to get into defensive position. The officials ruled, as is their right, that it was a goal, that the puck would have gone into the net had the net not been moved. Wilbon, do you feel like the Wild's game-winning goal should have counted?
Yes. The goaltender moved the net. He dislodged it. Eustace Annunen, it didn't just, it just happened. No, it didn't just happen. He made it happen. The damn goal counts. Everybody get off the ice. And if I hear from one person from Nashville, I'll get all of you suspended or send you to an NBA poker game. That would be your punishment. Get the hell out.
Okay, so let me go back.
There's no other point of view.
Let me not be crazy about this. I understand why they have this rule. I understand the latitude that you have to give the referees because if you don't, every goalie will knock the netting off.
As soon as he gets a breakaway coming at him.
100%. And that will happen. So I understand the philosophy of it. I understand, what was the word I wrote down? That the officials are allowed to interpret a goal. Because, Mike, it's magic, right? Because the puck did not go in the net. Now, they looked at this in Toronto, and they ruled it would have gone in the net had the net been where it is. But if you look at it, the first shot is off, and the second shot, the goalie's sort of standing there not knowing what's going on. So there's a part of me that says if it doesn't actually go in the net, it's not a real goal.
We should reward the instigator who took the net
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. So, but I'm sort of stuck in the middle here, and I wonder, look, it's a big win for Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, in the 0.3 of a second left in regulation, the game was tied up by Nashville, right? And it probably won't mean something down the road because they don't look like playoff teams now. Minnesota's like 13th in the conference. Nashville's 11th. But what if this extra point means something?
Game. Otherwise, do we need to talk about betting? Do we need to talk about that?
I don't understand hockey betting. But
Okay, I
bet you one goal is a big deal. I bet you it's a big deal.
Yeah,
Let's take a break, and it's a phantom goal.
Yeah.
Coming up, how should Kyler Murray feel about the Cardinals again going with Jacoby Brissett? We're going to ask Steve Young.
We're also going to ask him how an injury to a quarterback's non-throwing arm might affect his throwing.
So you can't even imagine why Nashville is upset? The puck didn't go in the net.
Because your dude took the net away. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out of the building. I'll call the police to throw everybody from Nashville out of the building. Get out. Don't want to hear it.
Several NFL questions for our good friend, the man who would never sit still in the pocket when I blocked for him in Tampa Bay, Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young. Let's start with something that's going to have an update in the middle of the question. Cardinals coach Jonathan Gannon says he would start Jacoby Brissett over Kyler Murray even if Murray were totally healthy because he likes what the offense is doing right now. Apparently, Murray's not totally healthy because they just put him on IR and he's going to have to miss at least 4 games. But if you were Murray, before that happened, and you heard something like this from your coach, what would be your reaction?
that's a death crawl, right? That's a coach that doesn't. If a coach gets fired, he's not going to be fired because you're on the field. I mean, there's nothing good there. That is the thing that you cannot hear as a quarterback. That makes Kyler Murray's agent runs to see what the contract says about guaranteed money. Like, how much are we going to get? Because we're not going to get any more. And it's just a really tough spot. And Nolo Contenders is in the courtroom, or no confidence in Parliament. Like, that is a brutal thing for a coach to say in the middle of the season. And to me, it really reflects how he and really the whole coaching staff feel about Kyler Murray, because everyone knows quarterback is the job in the NFL. It's the most important thing. And so if you're basically putting your quarterback aside, you're not playing. We don't want you to play. Even if you're healthy, we don't want you to play. If I'm Kyler Murray, I say to myself, in a totally vulnerable state, what am I not doing? What do I need to do? Respond not as a victim, which most people do. Respond in accountability and say, how have I let this organization down? What do I need to do better? Is it whatever? We heard rumors about studying. There's all kinds of whispers about it. But just own it. Own that the coach just put you on the, just out the pasture essentially, and just don't allow it, because otherwise, you know how fast you become a starter in the league to a journeyman, looking for a backup job? It happens pretty quick. You better hustle on this one and make sure it doesn't happen to you.
Speaking of journeyman, let's move to Joe Flacco for a second, Steve. And the 3 games he's played, the most recent 3 ones with the Bengals, he's thrown for more than 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns, but is just 1 and 2. As a quarterback, how angry are you allowed to get with your defense, particularly with what you saw Sunday against the Bears?
Well, Michael, we always talk about football is unique because everyone has to go get the inspiration to go ram into each other. And it takes inspiration. You have to want to do it. And how you get there and how do you gather guys. And quarterbacks, half their job is really just psychology. How do I get my guys ready to go ram into people next week and to protect me or play defense? And what you can't do is shame them and make them less incented to go ram into people. So you got to be super careful. Now, some teams are so mature that you can stand up and shame them and get them to go play harder and get them. But if you're new to a team and Joe can't do that, right? He's definitely respected, but he's new to the locker room. He's got to be super careful. But I know when he goes home and complains to his wife, he's like, that defense sucks. We got to get them together. But you can't say it in public. You got to gather people. You can't be divisive. You got to gather.
You were certainly one of the people I thought of when watching Jayden Daniels dislocate his elbow, non-throwing arm. Not that you had that specific injury, Steve, but I just think of quarterbacks and the physical vulnerability. What does that arm, we're glad it's not his throwing arm, glad it's not his leg, but how important is the non-throwing arm to a quarterback when he's been busted up like that?
So you think not that much, right? I mean, even if it's wrapped up and you can't move it, it's not that big of a deal. But we're talking about 99th percentile stuff, like 100th percentile. Like every little thing keeps you from being that perfect anticipatory thrower that can fit it into hole. Like your body needs to be whole. Now, if you're right-handed, your left arm have to be completely whole? No, but you don't realize. Ask Brock Purdy about a big toe. I mean, my gosh, he can. It affects his throwing in a big way. But to me, your other arm, you think it's not that big a deal, but if somehow it's not counterbalancing the right way, and you got to be perfect with the football, it makes it super tough.
Let me first follow up. From what you've seen, would you just say at 3-6 record for the Commanders, okay, Jayden, it's been enough. It's been enough. Let's get you whole again. Am I going too far?
I think you have to in some ways, Michael. I don't think the problem is we started this idea that we're going to, kind of tank the season, right, for draft picks. Started in basketball and, now it's infected football, and it starts the theme going. And the truth is, it's not necessarily tanking. It's like you got to be smart. Jayden's going to be around for 15, 20 years. You want him to be that guy. You got to make sure that you do everything you can to make sure that now you got to play him. It's football. But if he's not completely healthy, to me, honestly, I would not just say end the season. Go get healthy. If it's week 15 and you're healthy and ready to go and you want to come inspire the troops, I'm up for that. I'm a quarterback that says I play. If I'm healthy, I play. Don't talk to me about management, clock management, time management, load management. Like I don't, in football, I guess leave that to people who are off the field and can try to be smart about it. If you're a player, get on the field. Bill Walsh always used to say, if you're not in the huddle, you're not in the huddle. And that was not a good thing. So I think that, if I were Jayden, I would get healthy and just demand to get on the field. Just love playing.
We will get you out of here on this. The Eagles decided to keep a disgruntled A.J. Brown at the trade deadline, saying it's hard to trade great players, which it is. So how far should a team go to try and get a great player more?